We are coming in the room of doom. My little art camp. Paper and fabric. What did I call this place? Didn't I call it something? I don't remember. I'm brain dead. I've been up since 4:30 and it's only 9:30. I've already been up for 5 hours in the morning. So when you walk in, it's this kind of little bit of a hallway, just a little entry area. And there's a little quilt that I made. Just a little art quilt. I keep this one on... no place to put a camera in this whole little entry. I keep this one up there when it's not a holiday. And then on this wall, it used to be here and now it's back. That picture right there are sunsets. This is that I took the pictures. Edisto Island, which is in south of Charleston, Lake Murray off our dock, and then Grand Cayman, which is where we went on our honeymoon. And it kind of just, it's on a really pale peach background, and then I had brass little plates engraved to kind of like label them. And I love that, but I've never put it, I took it down years ago and I never put it back up, so I just put it back up. And then when you come in, I have books for Frankensteining, and or reference, and or, oh gosh, I wish I could be this good of an artist. That kind of stuff. There's another quilt that I made in Missouri at Missouri Star Quilts in February this past year, 2018. And it's kind of, oh, maybe if yeah, the light is on. It's kind of weird because of the walls being yellow in here. It's just here we go. Hope y'all didn't just get dizzy. It's just a 2-block wall hanging. And it's fish. Oh, the fish are upside down. I hung it upside down. The pattern is called crown something, because these look like crowns. And then I made, that's some of my favorite fabric by K Facet, and then the purple is something else. And I just put the same purple on the back. But it's not got the binding on yet. And I just hand quilted it in circles, little like bubbles, like the fish were spewing bubbles. And then I went around the edges. Also, I hand quilted it. I went around the edges with pink, which really doesn't show up, but there's like exaggerated. Oh, it still has basting in it. Huh. Maybe this shouldn't be up here yet. Here is a quilt that I did of South Carolina, that shape, and it's all hexagons, little hexagons, and I like put the rivers and the lakes. Here's Lake Murray right here, Charleston and all its harbors here. I turned that one into the state fair, and I didn't win anything, and I thought it should have, because I really kind of like it. It's all in batiks and or greens and blues to represent water and ground. These are 2 that are in process that I have never finished. That's a Paris one. Paris. Oh, I can't even talk. It's cold today. My teeth are chattering. Paris. And then that's another one that I've made. I made that one at Missouri Star Quilt too, I think, this past February. Anyhow, that one's pretty. That's a pattern. That's something I made up. This is something I made up. That's a pattern. This is something I made up. And if you're a viewer of mine from a long time ago, Curti, you may have seen this. That is all half square triangles, the 4 corners, and all kinds of different colors. And then I have that turquoise around it. And then around that are city prints. There's Paris, the Eiffel Tower, pineapples, which is a lot of a symbol of the South and South Carolina especially. New York, more Paris. This one I think is London. No, I think that's Paris too. Paris street map fabric. And then, if you can see it, I embroidered like an outline of a child, a boy and a girl. She has a little dress on. I don't know if you can see it because of lighting. I'm probably giving you all vertigo, sorry. But I kind of made it like children around the world, and it's in that entire city map or country fabric all the way around. This room's not very big. All the way around. All those children kind of like holding hands around the world. And all of the colors, and then the center is just like the edges, the four corners. All of these are like all different colors. It's supposed to represent all the flags of the world and people of the world and different people of the world and embracing our differences instead of hating each other's differences. So that one's not done, but I'm hanging it there because behind that is my cockpit where I do all my journaling and filming and everything. And this is my very, very tidy bookshelf. Yeah, I have that bookshelf full of books, which the top one is quilt books, and that's all one author, K. Fassett, the guy that made that fabric right there. And then I have this other, no more books, people. These other two stacks of books. That's all my paints. And then that white cupboard and these two white cupboards are full of fabric and fabric supplies. This is like drop cloths for Bella and I when we want to paint. And I just stuffed them in between there. This is laser printed fabric, and it's the city of New York. It is gorgeous. That could be just quilted and used. You don't have to have a fabric to do anything else with it. This little guy I got in. We went on a cruise with a bunch of people from church to the Bahamas. One of those islands, I got it there. And then this quilt is from Israel. And it's actually a pillow top, but I have never taken out of the plastic, and I just love that. It's kind of like embroidered on there. It's like a chain stitch embroidered. This is a corner that still needs to be dealt with. There's two sewing machines there, Bella's and mine. Some empty containers that I still have things to go through. There's some Christmas wrapping paper. That box right there is all magazines still to go through, and I've been diligently working on them. These little things are things that I take to my art group on Mondays when I can go, and I display my little quilts on that, and we have a display at a local bank always, and they change it in and out, but it has to be customer approved, and it has to be able to sit on an easel. So I attach mine to those foam boards like this little guy has been there, and so I keep one or two of those handy. This little thing is Bella and I one day in my art room, and my dog and Bella and I sewing. My husband made it for me, and that is in here. And then these are two quilts that you see a lot in my backgrounds. That is more paper supplies, and that is all sewing supplies that you can't see, and or art supplies that I really don't use. There's the towering stack of backpacks, some Alice in Wonderland wrapping paper that's extremely special. It came from Paris, actually, Kurtie. There's some more boxes, granted, right here that need to be worked on. I'm still a huge work in progress, but I had 3 of these metal shelves, which are the shelves behind here. And now I can open my windows because all you see are these like quilts, and it looks fabulous. Here's my little chair with another quilt. Actually, that was Bogey's quilt. And I have a little table and my iPad and my utility car, which I think that I'm going to move that and put it inside my cockpit. But on the inside of these cabinets, this isn't a good example. See, they're still very messy. But I have a lot of these tubs and the other two that are all fabric. This theoretically is going to be supplies, a little bit of cross stitch that I have, thread, patterns, but it's not organized yet. But at least it's all in the right place now. My problem is I have a lot of things because I'm spoiled, but I have like 6 paper clips here and 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 everything. There's Bogey's little mat that he sleeps on and naps in here with me. Those are 2 more boxes to go through. And paint these drawers right here are all scrapbook paper. Yes. I don't think I'm going to go behind the curtain because the wizard is back there. No, not really. But the wizard is back there, and it's not for show right now because it is a disaster. but an organized disaster. And, oh, I found my sketchbook envelope that I was looking for the other day. I found that. Oh, there's a stack of frames, a bowl of leaves and pine cones for fall. I need to put that out. A Mackenzie Childs box that I put all my Mackenzie Childs boxes on top of this cabinet because they're precious and I think they're pretty up there. And there's a hat of Bella's dress up. It's a mess. But this is way farther than it was. Way farther. And I can get in here now and say, oh yeah, I know where all of that stuff is. It's not in 6 different places. It's in one place now. Might not be tidied, but it's in one place now. And there's my printer. I lost that for a day or two. Anyhow. I'm working on it. Oh my gosh. You want to see something sinful? These are inserts. Most of these are pear tea inserts or little ones that come out of the Daphne's Diary or Flow magazine. Pear tea stickers. Mostly pear tea. She is really doing a great job with hers these days. That is all Traveler's Notebook blank ones. I don't need any. Don't let me buy another one. Crazy. Anyhow, okay. Let's get to where we're going to go today. I'm not sure where we're going to go, but we'll get there. My taxi cabs are back. They came back. These are these little Post-its I got in New York at one of the little tourist gift shops, and I couldn't resist them. So those came back. And they're in the drawer with that is marked Post-it. So hopefully next time, in a day or two, I'll be able to use them because I know where they are. I think I'm not too close. I hope. You have a room tour, sort of. And I'm going to do a flip through of my New York why can't I talk? My New York Traveler's Notebook from 2016. I haven't come across 2017. It's in this en masse. It might be right over there, actually, but okay, we're going to keep going. So, yes, this is in a Traveler's Notebook. This is just a postcard that I just washi taped on there. I never put anything on my cover till the very end because all of this has to talk to me, and then I know what to put on here. And I am nothing if not extremely terrified of doing the wrong thing and not having supplies enough to do it again. You do realize that's a joke, right? Because, okay. So these are, what are those fancy stickers? Italian. Cavallini stickers of street maps of New York. This is my tickets that I kind of, I like watching some, not all of them, but some, in particular A Girl in England's Smashbook stuff. I tried Smashbooking, I can't do it. But I'm beginning to believe what I do is kind of like artistic Smashbooking. So, I smashed my tickets down, my Phantom of the, a gift shop receipt, just because I wanted this to be kind of like a transit. And I added a little color and a title. And not all of this is done, or in the order it should have been. This is about the sketchbook project. Oh, here's the books I looked at. An Immigrant Journey by a New Yorker about New York. One from Mexico. One from San Francisco that printed linen with quotes. One from Columbia, South Carolina that had quotes also. One from Washington State that was called A Blanket Journal about fiber on beds, quilts, crochets, cartoons with Charles Schultz, who's from California. A historical quilt one, Birds in the Air, made a quilt, blah, 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 blah. Lucy of Berkeley made a quilt log of a start to finish quilt, which I thought that was kind of cool. And it had California themed Chinese coins. And I don't know what that word is. I can't read my own writing. So that's kind of, that one I just took watercolor and put a background down. Receipts from MoMA, about the MoMA brochure. And I like it when they use the brochure as a background for tip-ins, which is what I've done, and I haven't journaled it. I know this was 2 years ago. Just bear with me, people. I have washi tape that looks just like that. Or pretty close. Same color scheme, right? Right. This was a postcard. And it was a black and white postcard of New York skyline, and I colored it in MoMA. And I took sections of paintings this time, pictures, just like a section of the flag that Jasper Johns did, a section of some other modern art that you would, Jackson Pollock, and I have to find those pictures. Paper Source. This is the first time I had ever been in a Paper Source store. And then I was taking a little tiny spiral notebook and working on maps, sections of city. And I did a Highline Trail here, walk, which is really an old subway that was elevated on the 14th Street. And I don't know if it starts there, but that's where I was. That's where I went before too. And it's a beautiful, they've made it into all these gardens and everything. So the subway doesn't go up there anymore. So they restored all of that and took it from drug alley to a beautiful natural trail to walk on and sit and eat. And it's beautiful. This is the statue in Times Square of the sewing machine person. It's in the Garment District section, Times Square Garment District. I did a little thing about City Quilter, which was one of my favorite quilt shops that has now closed. And this is just, there was an Etsy display at Bloomingdale's, I think. This is one of the lights in the library, maybe. Just rooftops. I love the architecture. An Apple sign and a Google sign. I put them back to back. Yep, they can do that. Some stuff I saved. Oh. Okay. The gist of this trip, because I went by myself, I wanted to give myself sort of a plan. So I like the number 7. So I did 7 things in 7 days. And I did 7 different nationalities for food. I did 7 parks. I did 7 ways of transportation. 7 can't talk. It's only 4:30 in the morning. 7 sites. That's what I'm trying to say. Postcard from Union Square. And, this is where I journaled from 7 places. Herald Square, the Highline Trail, Bryant Park, Union Square, Central Station, Grand Central Station, the Chelsea Market, a bakery in the Garment District, and in Washington Square Park. So that's kind of fun. Here's Bryant Park, which is coming apart. This was scrapbook paper that I took, and then this was me trying to replicate it. I hope this is showing. I hope I'm in the right place. Journaling in Bryant Park. The New York Public Library. I had never been there. Oh, it's lovely if you can go. The Oyster Bar in Grand Central Station is kind of like a fun thing to do with my mom that I've been with her before, but every time I go now, it's closed. It was closed because it was Labor Day, a national holiday here. So that started to become a theme of this trip too. The Strand Bookstore is an amazing used bookstore. Amazing. And the little bookmarks and postcards. And it was established in 1927. It's 18 miles of bookshelves. It's just amazing. I stopped in some I was shopping in shop windows. This was Galliano, I think, or Versace. Might have been Versace. Just looking in the windows of stores are amazing. One of my favorites is Mackenzie Childs. It's very, very expensive. I buy the tiniest things in there because it's very expensive. Ralph Lauren. And Mackenzie Childs is a lot of black and white checks, so I kind of but it has like a stressed effect, so I kind of try to do that. The Guggenheim, I had never been in the Guggenheim. I probably don't have to go back, although I do love their bookshop, so I might be able to go back into the bookshop only. My receipt, another one of those calendars that I've already used this time. Degas, the inside I thought was cool. It's on the National Historic Register of Historic Places. Oh, these are my Frank Lloyd Wright Post-its, and he designed the Civic Center for our county where I grew up. Madeline, this little girl's children's story of Madeline was written by a guy in the Carlisle bar. For that whole trip, I thought it was located in the St. Regis bar. So this is like my internal brain fight of St. Regis versus Carlisle bars. When I finally got to the Carlisle bar, it was closed. But there is wallpaper on the wall of Madeline. Now it's kind of even a more tragic coincidence because the guy that told me about it was a famous chef here in the United States, and he committed suicide this year right after Kate Spade. So, yeah. The Garment District. Chinatown. I haven't finished. Here's my map of Chinatown and where I walked. And I did 7 walks. The different nationalities that I saw. I had Chinese, Italian, seafood, street deli, Korean food, Mexican food, and Lindy's, which is cheesecake. That, in my book, that is a food group. This is one of the Strand book postcards, but it's a Maltese, which is what my little bogey is. Oh, here's the thing about all the 7s. The museums. Oh, I did 7 museums. I think that's where I journaled 7 different places. The 7 parks, the 7 subway stops that I went to. You can't do New York without a subway map, and that's not finished. I can't read my writing on that either. Nice. Oh, this is a stamp that I have. It's called Cityscapes. It's by Tim Holtz. Now that is something I haven't seen lately. No, maybe it isn't. Okay, that needs to be relocated, I think. But that's the New York one. It has Sydney, New York, Paris, maybe Rome? I can't remember. I wonder where that one is. Still have a couple more boxes to go through in here. Pear Tea stickers, New York stickers. Just a hodgepodge of stuff. That came out of a magazine. But it had to go in here for some reason. My Metro card. Paper that I made of little taxis. The Statue of Liberty crown apples. Oh, the taxi drivers were on a kind of like a strike, so I did a lot of my brain. The subways were on a kind of work strike, so I did a lot of taxis that year, which was much more expensive. The Statue of Liberty, and I did her crown in book text and colored it green, and I have a bunch of stickers of the Statue of Liberty. And I did that in circles from a stencil and put it there. And I've been to the Statue of Liberty 4 or 5 times, and yes, it's great. And yes, I'm lucky. But to me, the Staten Island Ferry is a great way to see the Statue of Liberty if you don't want to go to Liberty Island, which I didn't this time. Oh, this is Jasper Johns, who has a huge connection to South Carolina and this lake. He had some time in his childhood he spent at this lake. And I tried to replicate very loosely this painting. Hopefully this is showing up. And where I journaled. And I love doing this with letters from magazines. And that is an image out of a magazine that I had to use. And then I have the New York page out of a children's dictionary, or an old dictionary. And oh, this was called Intel. One of the magazines, travel magazines that I like to look at, has a column they call Intel, and it's just the facts. So I was doing some more stuff about all the 7s. And I just colored it. This is graph paper. I kind of like that. Must have been why I did it. I don't know what kind of tape. Oh, that was a napkin from Mackenzie Childs. No, tissue paper, because it's kind of checkerboard. So that's fun. More stuff about Madeline Brimlin's bar at the Carlisle, which I actually got to see it from a window, and I got to go into it actually is called a gentleman's bar too. Anyhow, I copied That Is Madeline and from her French book, her Christmas book, and then I tried to draw her. Okay. Oh, this is more stuff about the public library, which is just gorgeous. And the satellite branch across the street from the main branch is a good one too. I sat in there for hours, and I guess this is 2016. God, that doesn't seem like it was 2 years ago. Anyhow, I sat in there for hours and looked at all these books of maps, which I absolutely adore maps. So I came home and I got one of my favorite ones on used books on Amazon for like $1. This is all the different food places I ate, and some of their receipts, and Momofuku's, the Majestic Deli, B.B. King's, which had great ribs, even though that's a tourist trap, but I ate there in the middle of the day, so it was nice and quiet. Europa Cafe, Kung Fu Kitchen, Street Carts. Oh, Momofuku's had the best marinated mushrooms. This is where I ate breakfast juniors a couple times and had eggs Benedict, which I love. Anyhow, it's just fun. That's a card from Momofuku's. Yep. And then this is a book, a stamp store that I discovered by the guy I think that does Traveler's Notebooks. He was on a shopping tour of New York for supplies for their stores. Don't quote me on this. I think that's who he is. But anyhow, he posted it on his Instagram. So I dug it out and went there. It is a hole in the wall, literally. There's no paper. I mean, no computers, hardly. Except that he does have a pretty decent website considering what he is and what he does and how analog he is. And anyhow, I bought a Da Vinci stamp, a corner stamp, an artist stamp, Edgar Allan Poe stamp, a map stamp, and all of that was $22. Not bad. It's just shelves and shelves of stamps. And here's his little novelty rubber stamps flyer. Oh, that's when I bought my Pan Pastel travel set at the Metropolitan. Oh no, my washi tape has failed me. Probably because I didn't give it enough room. Okay, that needs to be fixed. A Picasso, which I can identify with these kind. Oh, and this is the shopping bag from the Metropolitan, and museum washi tape and art washi tape and New York washi tape and my little artist stamp that I bought. The number that I got to wear through the museum. Yeah, those pretty little metal pins, they don't have those anymore. Picasso, another section of the bag for a tuck-in spot, which this needs to be repaired. Paper Source and Blick Arts and Kinokuniya is that Japanese store that I destroy every time I say it. Oh, I got this really neat notebook at the library gift shop. Strand Bookstore. I don't know why there's two sections of some of these things, except that I just love them. Cathedral of St. John the Divine is always gorgeous. Highly recommended if you can make it in there. Huge. Oh, the Highline Trail. Oh, I thought this was pretty. It's out of a newspaper, and it was just a spring blossom tree. Now, I did not go in spring, but it's okay. And then I did my favorite letter types, and I have an envelope from the Met, which is not on the Met page. My ticket stubs. This is kind of a mishmash, but you know, that's me. Oh, the public library had this display of art from Venice in the 1700s or something. Yeah, 1700s. But it was these beautiful, like, cherubs and things, and this was their logo. And I took the Jane Davenport paper and put her logo of a beautiful cherub as my background paper. And this was about journaling in all these different places. And this is a bag from... Oh, I bought Electrum. That was the tag from there at the Japanese place. And it's not done. Staten Island Ferry, Picasso. I don't know why he's in here, but I made a pocket out of him. Oh, I made a little tiny zine. It's not very good, but it's mine. I made two. Just abstract art. I love New York, a subway, the Brooklyn Bridge, a tip-in of Times Square, Lady Liberty, and maybe me with green hair. I don't know. I think this one is architecture. Yeah, stamps and stickers that I've had some for years and years. Stamps and stickers. And some of that Skyline stamp that I need to track down. I think that's it. Yeah. So if you need a envelope, I highly recommend putting Picasso on the outside and make your own. Oh no, this was a gift bag that I just cut down. See, it was like this. I cut it right here, put a little hole in it so it looks official, and put Picasso on it, because why wouldn't you? So that's definitely the way I go. Some of the pages are done. Most of them are. Some aren't. Could be fine-tuned, and it's out of order. So, I did a room tour and a flip. Update on my mom. She's just so weak, and it's extremely discouraging to her to be so weak. She knew it was going to happen, especially considering her age. But she's not accepting it at all. And it's causing her frustration. And she doesn't have time enough to be frustrated because she's too weak. Does that make sense? We're trying not to hover over her because we want my mom and dad to have time together. But when both of them nap all day long, and my dad is not a gigantic talker anyhow, they just stare at each other. And it's frustrating for us as their children. Can't talk about that anymore. Okay. Good place to end. All right. See you tomorrow in New York. Bye.